They really, really are giving us another reboot. It's not just another reboot, it's another Fantasy Island reboot. Another one. We just had one and it was bad. Hello everyone, I am Becca Random42, the one and only, the original, your favorite YouTube consumer advocate Harpy. We're clipping this one. I've been finding and going through all these reboots, remakes, articles. It's the only thing Hollywood knows how to do when they're not reading and crying about some other stupid thing that they cry about and read about. What are we talking about? A reboot that does not need to exist in any way, shape, or form and is only there to get people like me to talk about the reboots. Fantasy Island reboot, another one, is getting a Fox series order for summer 2021 from Sony TV's Gemstone Studios. We already had a Fantasy Island reboot where they replaced Ricardo Montalban with the only person that you could possibly even consider to replace him, Malcolm McDowell. That was probably the only good part about that. And it was a weird, odd reboot that was not very good. It just wasn't very good. It lasted a season, and then they reran it on the Sci-Fi Channel. And that's what's going to be with this. It's going to be one season. It's going to be a one-and-done thing. It is a filler thing because they have nothing else. You cannot fill the shoes of any of the people who have been in this before. Even the bad one where you had the old people at the travel agency. Yes, I watched it twice. You cannot replace rich Corinthian leather. Captain Shannon Murphy says, you can't replace Khan. And Malcolm McDowell was close, is probably as close as you could have done. Let me guess, they're not going to get him back, are they? Who are they getting? Who are they getting? Is it going to be a diversity swappity-doo? Swapperoonie, that's what it's going to be, isn't it? It's going to be one more of these properties where they can say, oh, well, it didn't represent you when it was out, so we're gonna change that now and make one just for you, so you'll have the you version. Because that's a great thing to do, isn't it?
Are you a white girl that screams for diversity out of guilt? Can't enjoy anything unless you see yourself represented? Wokemon. Wokemon is a great way to show how totally not racist and sexist you really are. Everyone wants to be hired based on their gender or skin color. Now you can be the center of the universe. See yourself on screen. Be the star of your own fanfiction. Be the bestest ever by stealing valor, worshipped by everyone.
I bypassed the hero's journey.
And executives, Wokemon is a great way to show how totally not racist and sexist you really are. And don't worry, if it doesn't work, you can always fail upwards. Wokemon, gotta represent them all.
Fulcrum Shift in chat says, Elliot Page will play the role of Tattoo. Is Elliot Page too tall by any chance? Is it offensive that Hervé Villachez was featured as a sidekick? Now, you never know with these wokier than thou people who are running around like they know the entire future of what's going to be offensive and what isn't, and have decided to cancel and complain about everything in the past. Like they can fix it now and get back at you. Fox is heading to Fantasy Island for this summer. The network has given a straight-to-series order to a contemporary version of the classic drama series. The project from writer-producer Liz Craft and Sarah Fain from the 100. Sony Pictures and Gemstone Studios will air next summer. This marks, quit with the article pop-ups, thank you Deadline. This marks the first green light for Gemstone Studios, Sony TV's boutique label dedicated to premium and independent production in a creative and efficient way. So, not a big manufactured studio notes, McDonaldization corporate sort of commodity like the film industry has become, right? Even though you're kind of doing that by doing a reboot again. Keeping the anthological format, the original with a handful of main characters living on an island and new guests arriving in every episode. Fantasy Island, written and executive produced by Kraft and Fain, delves into the what-if questions keeping us awake at night. Each episode will tell emotional, provocative stories about people who walk in with a desire but end up being reborn to themselves through the magical realism of Fantasy Island. So pretty much it's Fantasy Island. Again, that's how the reboot was. That's how the original was. You're not really giving us anything new, but this is like what happens every time they reboot the Twilight Zone or any of those sort of things. In continuing to develop outside the traditional broadcast cycle, we've been particularly focused on providing viewers with a summer series that offers a true escape from everyday life. To be sure, now so more than ever. Well, this doesn't sound bad at all. This just sounds like they're making more Fantasy Island. What are they doing to it? I'm skeptical. I have to put the skeptic's hat on because we've been burned so many times before. I don't like reboots. They could have done something inspired by. Why not make a spin-off in the universe? When did they stop doing spin-offs and just started doing reboots? You kind of need spin-offs and these joint, like Star Trek's attempting it, but they're really bad. They're bad at Star Trek. They're just bad at diversity, inclusion, Star Trek, strong female characters. They're bad at characters, right? Star Trek is tokenism at its finest. And if you don't believe me, Kimmer! They have a character they didn't even bother to name that just wheels himself throughout the hallways of the Discovery, not even having a way on or off the ship, as the transporter pads, at least until they move to the future, we're all on stairs, So yeah, don't get me started on Star Trek. Fantasy Island is a beloved program, and the world Liz and Sarah have created for this contemporary adaptation is a signature Fox and perfect show for today's times. After all, who among us wouldn't take a safe trip to Fantasy Island right now? Well, I don't know. I mean, I've seen that show, and I know that things kind of go bad and wonky. And like, if you're like a dude who wishes to be thin, then, and this is actually, I'm reciting back an episode of the reboot because I remember that, sadly, because I watched it twice. I think he was wishing to be thin, and then he realized that he had to maintain that body and lifestyle, and he had to completely change his complete way of life, and that it wasn't going to last. And I think he fell in love with a woman who wished for something similar, to be like way more attractive or thinner or whatever. And then they decided to be there. Oh, I can't remember how it went, but I'm pretty sure it was something like that, where they had to just live with the consequences. The original Fantasy Island, created by Gene Levitt and executive produced by Aaron Spelling and Leonard Goldberg, ran on ABC from 1977 to 1984, which I remember. I was alive for most of this. It starred Ricardo Montalban as the mysterious Mr. Rourke and Hervé Villachez as his assistant, Tattoo, as they grant guests on so-called fantasies on the island for a price. The Plane Boss! I loved Tattoo when I was a kid. My mother would tell me that I would go and look and say, hey, the plane, because I was really, really little, but yeah, loved Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island has been an important IP for Sony, which has revisited it multiple times, including the 1998 series Revival starring Malcolm McDowell. Yes, I remember, which aired on ABC, and a reboot which was in development at ABC during the 2018-19 season. So they tried to reboot it again. Additionally, Sony Pictures released a horror feature adaptation produced by Blumhouse. That one too! I forgot about the horror version from Blumhouse! Fantasy Island has always been one of our most popular and iconic series. And when we heard Liz and Sarah's vision of this world, we immediately knew that they were onto something special. Really, we can't think of a better partners than Fox to work on this entirely novel take on this classic property. This is truly a wonder. You know, it's novel. Make your own thing. Make a new thing, right? I get it. It's probably a lot harder to sell an original IP to Hollywood these days. But your audiences are so sick and tired of this. This is basically, they're acting out for attention because they know we won't watch them otherwise or talk about them. And this is the backstory on what they've done and where they met. And are they a couple? Are they a couple? Is that what you're telling me? So far, there's no castings. So far, we don't know if they're going to be swapping or redoing or reimagining any of these main characters. We don't know. Is it going to even be Mr. Rourke? Because that was one of the issues that I had with the reboot from 98, is that Malcolm McDowell was playing Mr. Rourke, when he should have played a new sort of character. I kind of am thinking that if they kind of continue with this sort of, oh, it's a code name, it's like a James Bond, and you're passed on from thing to thing, because they set this up like it's this magical universe of what is it, like a judgment sort of universe, you know, like when they weigh your heart on the scales in Egypt. I'm going off on a tangent, but yes, you're asking me in chat, are they a couple of what? And I hate to answer, but are they a couple of couple? That's the new one. I don't care. I don't care if they're a couple or not. They can do what they want. I don't care. It looks like they did Vampire Diaries, Lie to Me. They created ABC's The Fix. So they're old studio. They're not new. They're not even new. Studio, righty Hollywood people. So why can't they? They worked on the freaking Shield, Women's Murder Club, Angel, Vampire Diaries, Lie to Me. Okay, so they don't even need to work on a reboot like this. Are they the Lady Whammon versions of Alex Kurtzman, I wonder? Where they're just gonna take a whole bunch of stuff and incorporate it from other things that they've seen and say, you know what, that's good enough. I don't think that's good enough. Captain Shannon Murphy says, I would rather have a steady eel crawl through my ear than watch whatever crappy reboot they have planned. Yeah, you know, I'll probably give it a shot for one episode because I did really, really love Fantasy Island. It won't live up to the original. It will not live up to the original in the hearts and the memories of the fandoms. And you're just kind of going off of a nostalgia title. Because you can't do anything new. Also, thank you so much, Poodleman, for subscribing. If you do like my content, please like, subscribe, share. I really, really appreciate it. I am going back to my live chat. Don't you guys go anywhere. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!
From hell's heart, I